Bitcoin is not going to do much of anything fancy until very likely near the end of the day Friday, perhaps as early as afternoon, literally 12 p.m. New York time. So the weekly or the monthly and quarterly candles close on September 30th at 8 p.m. New York. And volatility on Bitcoin could start heating up, I would say very likely an hour or an hour and a half before. So 6:37 p.m. New York on Friday, September 30th. But it could be as early as, 2 p.m. or noon New York time. So what that means for Bitcoin price right now is it's just going to go back and forth. And so what I'm going to do in this portion of the live stream or this Bitcoin video is show you what is in play and the thresholds on when you need to put another thing in play. But as of now, there are only really three things in play, and Bitcoin will likely play with those three items back and forth. And I'm not going to make my guesses on the price path between how it'll bounce, but I'm letting you know the barriers that will essentially make Bitcoin bounce among them. Are you ready? Let's go get some Bitcoin. All right. Here we go. I guess I could turn off the music and do a sound check. So over in the comments, just let me know if you can hear me. I think you can. All right. Bitcoin, what is in play? Top of the micro range, which I've gone over my channel over and over and over and over, you typically need to go to the 1 hour chart in order to see it. So let's go like this. 1 hour chart. Turn off these live things. And if you wanted to make just the top line, that's perfectly cool. You would want to look for this pattern around August 13th and 14th. August 13th and 14th. And I'm going to zoom into there. The wicks go above, and the line is just above where it kind of consolidated. It's just above, like this. So this is August 13th. This is August 16th. So, and this is August 15th, I guess. 13th through 15th, I guess. So this is the top line, and you extend it to current price, all right? And if you want to see what else it connects with, because you don't need the whole channel until it falls back into it, but it also connects really well with the stop hunt and whale games from FOMC, which I played this. I traded it well, and my TA was like, I only made 2 guesses, and it literally it literally went from here to here, like in almost the exact same time frame. So it's one thing I actually nailed recently. But I'm on the 1 hour candle. So the 1 hour candle bodies from September 21st. So you connect what we just talked about over there to the roughly the top of the candle bodies. So zoom in. It's just under the top. So this is why it was a trap. The 1 hour zoomed up to close above. The next hour started like it was going to keep going because of this closure, and then it was a fake out. So I've covered this on my channel a lot. Like, candle closures above resistances are only meant to trick you. Now, I'm traditional trading, yeah, it helps to like confirm stuff, but because traditional finance bots are responsible for 90+% of all trading volume on Bitcoin, not transaction volume, but that doesn't move price, right? Trading volume. Closures are just there to trick you. Closures specifically around support and resistance, they're only meant to trick you. And in order to see what's actually happening, you have to go to the very, very low time frames, 15-minute, 5-minute, 3-minute, to see how price is reacting on this line. And I'm not going to cover that on my channel, but just know if you're new here, the closures, I mean, especially the 1 hour and the daily, they're mostly used to trick you. As Bitcoin price is, the order books are very thin. Half of all orders across, a composite of the biggest exchanges, they're not real orders. They're there from the exchanges themselves, or from traditional finance putting in orders to try to trick other bots, and then they're just spoofed, right? So within an order book, it's even thinner than it looks because half of the orders in there they're going to go away as price gets closer anyway, right? If price gets up, goes up, and it starts eating through all the red numbers on the order book, which are the sell orders, They start disappearing anyway. So that's one thing in play that you'll want to draw on your chart. And then the other two things in play right now are very simply, I'm going to go to the 15-minute chart now. I'm going to be really zoomed in here. The other two main things in play are labeled here, daily 10 and daily 21. Very simple stuff to put on your chart. And again, sorry for returning viewers, the daily 10, I like to use the 1 hour 200 EMA instead of the daily 10. It is mathematically the same thing for assets that trade 24/7, 365. It's not the same if you go to SPX index or a stock that closes, right? Like Apple or Amazon. It won't be, the daily 10 is not equal mathematically to the 1 hour 200, but things that trade 24/7, 365, it's the same line and it's just smoother, right? So that's what I'm using. And those are the three things in play. So the first one was the top of the micro channel. That's in play. And I longed this today and I did a really good trade. I think I closed it here. And it was, I don't know, did I get 2% out of that? See, I probably entered about right there. Yeah, so I'm only going for 2% trades on higher leverage. I got it. So I closed it pretty well there. I actually made 3 good trades today. Just hitting button for singles or hitting singles. So the first thing in play, top of the micro range, green. So green letters for the green thing, orange letters for the orange thing, and then if I can get rid of this for a second, yellow letters for the yellow guy, right? So the 3 things in play. If now there is a chance that price gets slightly more volatile now that Bitcoin is freed from traditional finance. SPX and IXIC or NASDAQ index, right? Now the futures can still kind of, why aren't I getting any, maybe I'm not seeing the chat messages. Is chat not available? Let's see, can somebody leave me a chat message? I'm not really seeing much of anything over there. I thought I asked for a sound check. Somebody leave me a quick message. I think there's a delay on it, but I'm not seeing anything over there besides mine. Anyway, so there is a chance that Bitcoin price gets a little more aggressive and goes over the daily 21 and uses as support and tries to leg up one more time because the traditional finance trading day is closed with the futures open, but the futures don't move Bitcoin quite as much. If that happens, if price gets above the daily 21 and uses it as support, so not just something like, not just something like this. So if you zoom in, was the yellow line used as support? No. So I wouldn't bring the weekly 10 into play on something like this. But if it can get above and use it as support, then what you're going to want to do is what happens is the top of the micro range is then out of play, right, as a bumper. So all we're trying to do is establish what's going to make price bump. That's it. And in more specific terms related to how price moves and why price moves, people hitting market buy and market sell is the only thing that moves price, it's the pivot points of people hitting buy and sell. It's what makes people change their mind, or algos, what makes the algos hit buy and sell, right? But they're programmed by humans. All right, so if the daily 21, if price gets above it and uses it as support, then this is no longer in play and you don't have to stare at it. And your new 3 things, or your next new thing, is the weekly 10. It's way up high, but I mean, that is what would be in play. And it's up closer to 21K. So you'd be dealing with 3 things then: the daily 10, the daily 21, the weekly 10. Yeah, you might be able to look left and add a horizontal for the fourth thing, because there's a lot of space here. But those would be the main 3 things in play that are going to move algos. Looking left, honestly, the top of the last bull trap would probably be, the next thing in play. So you'd probably put a little horizontal here, and if price gets above and use it as support, the daily 21, you might actually have 4 things in play, and that would be somewhere around 20,270, something to that effect. I would actually add that if price gets above and stays above the daily 21. So you'd have 4 things in play to guide you and And again, how price moves across all these, because it's just going to be wishy-washy price action from algos, just essentially looking up the order books and looking for liquidity in form of stops and liquidations of high leverage. It's just going to be back and forth. I don't want to make specific price paths, so I'm showing you the bumpers, and that and the equivalent of that is I'm handing you a drawing book, like a kid's coloring book, that's not colored in, right? So I usually give very specific coloring, like I color it for you and hand you the freaking page, like a kindergartner turning in homework to the teacher. I'm not going to do that. I'm giving you guys, I'm giving you all a drawing of black and white, and Price will color in, and you can play with it in that fashion, okay? Because it's just the quarterly close and monthly close is happening. I'm not guessing how Bitcoin price is going to scribble between the lines. It's honestly not even worth it right now until the monthly actually closes and you get maybe another day into it. So you can start seeing how price is swinging after, in which direction it's trying to go, trying to get a feel. Is the first direction a fake out? It's actually going to go down, or is the downside a fake out? Is it actually going to go up after the closure? Things to that effect. All right. So now what are we looking at during the closure? So let's quickly, so I'll wrap up Bitcoin by showing you some key things that are going to be happening during this closure and things to look out for. Because price could get volatile. Actually, it very likely will get volatile before the closure, right? So big algos are going to try to, and honestly, what I see happening is I think algos are going to try to push price up as close as they can to the top of this candle body. That's what I think that might happen. Around 20,000. I anticipate that as an extreme likelihood. But before then, like today and tonight, price could go down to 18.8. And then it spikes up, and then it goes sideways like at 19K tomorrow, 19.1. And then in 1 hour, it goes up $1,000. So it's not to say, Cosasverdes said like 20,000, so I'm going to long now. No, like it could go down first and go sideways for 12 hours. Like it might happen like at 7 p.m. New York on Friday, September 30th. It doesn't have to be just a constant, okay, let's go up here, so therefore we should long. Like I said, coloring book, I'm not going to guess how price is going to scribble between the lines. This is interesting. Let me see if I turned off the ability to comment. Let me see here. Who can send messages? Subscribers. Okay, it looks like I'm not interesting. I don't know what's going on with that. I can't if you're typing stuff, I can't see it. So this will be an interesting live show. This is a YouTube error, not a user error, I think. Because I just looked at the settings and it says that you can comment if you're subscribed. All right, so, but that's the main thing to be looking out for. That's the whale trap, or just how algos, I believe, are going to behave. And it could go slightly above here, right? It could want to flip the month green, start off the next, so we're going to flip to the weekly, and then the whole next week, the first 3 days, it looks like it's going to be a big fat green candle, and price goes all the way up to something like 21.3, and then it tanks because the fake out was this monthly closure being green, and then they get people excited for the next 3 days of the next week, so it's a big fat green weekly candle, and then it screams down. Like that could be what's going to happen, and if I were a whale, that's exactly what I would do. That's precisely what I would do. Because I would make a lot of money doing that. Yeah. Anyway, so let's see here. These are origin lines. Okay, so what would that do to the origin lines? So I'm on the weekly chart. That would mean this week closes green and the next one starts green and then flips red. That would be a great trap. It would take price above this origin line here before it fell back into this macro channel. So yeah, that'd be a wick above this origin line. And for newer viewers, what the origin lines are, you'll only find them on my channel, but I swear to goodness, they're magic. They work like magic. They go back all the way to the origin of price. That's why I call them origin lines. And if I turn them off for you, the macro channel goes back to the 69K top back here. So Bitcoin has been in a channel the whole time with a couple bull traps. I think this is also a bull trap. But a lot of altcoins have been working their way sideways up and out, or not necessarily up, but outside, going sideways, moving lateral to the top of their channel line. Bitcoin might do the same thing before it falls back in for a big move down. All right. And so looking at price this way, what would happen here in that case, if the monthly closure is around 20K, it would just be going like this. And then the month closes, maybe a small pullback. The next week, the first 3 days are even higher, goes to, maybe even as high as 22K, right? So let me put a pin in this. It could be an aggressive first few days of the next week, right? It could be. And then it falls down and maybe uses this at support somewhere down here. But that's what I think is in play to the upside. Am I saying that's my favorite scenario all the way up to 22K? No, but we're in a bear market, and I am generally biased to the downside midterm, but I'm showing you this first because with my bias as a somebody who's making videos online, I don't want that to rub off on you without you knowing the possibilities. This could go up to $2,500 first, easily. And those are the reasons why. Now, the also on the monthly chart, let me take off the macro range. We don't need it on the monthly. A lot of times the next month, let's say this closes green with an end of week or end of day attack, which is also end of month and end of quarterly attack. So this is the monthly candle. Let's say it flips green. And the next candle, even if it will end up being red, you usually get a backfill. So see this red candle here? What did it do? It backfilled all of this wick and more and touched this wick up here. See that? And it was red, so it went up first. So red candles have the habit of going up first on all time frames. The daily, the hourly. If it's going to be a red candle, it backfills first and then goes. Am I making sense there? So there is a lot of stuff in the chart saying that the next week or week and a half, we could see some upside movement to essentially trap people. So be very careful. And knowing that the last month, the play was to go backfill above the previous wick. Well, this wick was at 22.8. So to backfill above it just normally is in the 23Ks before it then potentially slams down and re-enters that channel. The channel that I just got rid of that we don't need on the monthly chart. So I am biased to the downside. But I am expecting maybe even a probability. It's like 50-50, maybe slightly more, of some type of play. And the quarterly candles get a lot of weird stuff happening. And the shelf life on the backfills and the weird stuff, it's like a week or a week and a half. It's not necessarily hours. It's not go up $1,000 and then crash down the whole week or the whole quarter candle or the whole monthly candle. Sometimes it'll last sometimes it's a whole week. But in this case, with the pressure down of the stock market, I think it would be like Monday, Tuesday, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday up, if that were the whale play. To close this green or doji, like a dragonfly doji, where you can't see the candle body because it closes right near the opening, right? So either one is kind of what I'm expecting. A dragonfly doji, where this is smashed down like paper thin, or closes green, and which will probably be another, it'll be a spinning top. So this is kind of a spinning top, right? Type of deal. Dragonfly is just essentially the same thing, but paper thin. So it could be a spinning top green, which means the month, so tomorrow could close as high, in my opinion, as like 21K, right? Right at the origin line, which would flip this green, turn it into a spinning top. Or tomorrow closes the daily candle, which is also the the quarterly around 20,100, somewhere around there. That would be 20,100, so a $900 range between 21K and 20,100 would be my guess for the closure tomorrow, Friday, which happens to also be the monthly and the 3-month closure. And if that is correct, which I'm not guaranteeing it's correct, hell, this could start accelerating down, but if the whales want to play up to trap people before going down, which is it's it's 50-50 or slightly better. If you see this close around 20,100 to 21K, then that locks in a probability that the first 2 days, maybe not Saturday, Sunday could come down first, right? It could go down to 18.8. But what I'm saying is when traditional finance opens on Monday, Tuesday, if this does end up a Dragonfly Doji, red or green, doesn't matter, or green spinning top around 21K, if that's accurate, then it becomes probable, like statistically probable you have an edge that Monday, Tuesday will be up the next week once traditional finance opens on Monday, October 3rd at 9:30 a.m. New York time. Just realize it does lock it in as probable. But even though it's probable, it could still easily go down on Saturday, Sunday, 18.8, play around there. Because these wicks right here are at 18.8, I believe. Or no, was it this one? No, this guy right there. It could play with that wick at 18.8 on the weekend. Even if this closes, like I said, it locks it in as probable Monday, Tuesday. It could easily come test this Saturday, Sunday. Might not, but if it does, it still would be probable. Like what I'm saying is, you say, oh, Coso said it's probable, but it's all the way down here on the weekend. No, that's baked in. It would still be probable if it stays above 18.8, 18.5, somewhere around there, doesn't go too far below here. Saturday, Sunday, it's still probable that it goes up higher on Monday and Tuesday. So be very careful for the whale games around the quarterly candle, monthly candle, and daily candle closure tomorrow, Friday, September 30th at 8 p.m. New York. Shit's gonna get volatile. And if you can't buy your charts and and actively buy something to get in and out of positions, don't try to enter positions and walk away. It's gonna be real. It's gonna get volatile. And it's likely going to be, it could be bi-directional volatility, right? So you get booted in and out of trades, and so don't try to trade this like by setting orders somewhere and walking away. You could really get messed up doing that tomorrow, Friday. Like bad. You'd only want to be at your computer if you're pissing around with your money, and that is Bitcoin and how to try to stay safe during the wacky volatility that is very likely on Friday, September 30th.